So what should we expect from the opening salvos in what will be a very long saga as the two sides try to find a deal? With me now is Barney Reynolds from Shearman and Sterling LLP. Barney, welcome to you. Do you think Michael Gove's bluffing?
No, I think it's the right approach. I think we need to level set and make sure both parties have the right fundamental understanding in going into the negotiations. And
I mean, the EU have equally set out their red lines. I mean, both sides seem to be taking quite a firm line right from the get-go.
At the moment, I think there's a key point, though, that's missing at the moment from the debate, which is coming in. I've just published something on it today, which explains that the EU and the Eurozone actually need the UK in order to carry the show on the road in its current form, which relates to systemic risk. So basically, the point is that Eurozone member state government debt is treated under EU law as sovereign, and yet actually, in truth, in law, it's not sovereign. The result of that is the global regulatory regime assumes it's riskless, it's risk-free debt, whereas it isn't, because it's not got the full joint and several backing of all the member states. And that basically puts massive financial risk into the world, much more than was the case for Californian subprime debt, which caused the 2007-2008 crash. And that risk is being run by investors all over the world. So effectively, they're running a currency at everyone else's expense.
So what you're saying is the EU needs the City of London and the sort of barriers that it has in place against systemic risk.
Yes, the UK, the City of London, the UK as a whole, is a host to the global markets, the other host being the US. And the Bank of England runs stress tests annually and tops up the capital requirements of institutions incorporated here to cater for systemic risk, including Eurozone risk. That's not true across the EU27 and with the European authorities as a whole. So we're protecting the world market and the UK economy from this risk.
On the basis of what you just said then, Barney, I mean, is the UK likely, in your view, to get the kind of enhanced equivalence deal with the EU as regards city regulation that we were hoping for?
Yes, and in fact, that's the deal I've published. The government that's government policy. I think we will get that, because it's the only easy way forward for the EU, it's for us, the UK, to continue managing this risk on the basis that we apply the Basel Rules. That's basically the set of outcomes that we should treat as underpinning enhanced equivalence. Otherwise, we can do things in our own way and so on under the common law system. So long as we do that, we would carry on the current arrangement with the business operating cross-border from London, and we would continue to manage this or to mitigate this risk on behalf of the EU and the world.
You don't worry that we'll barter away our strength in financial services for the sake of a few hundred jobs in the fishing industry?
Well, obviously, any deal involves evaluating things across sectors and compromises. But this is the elephant in the room at this point on risk, and it needs to be resolved. And it's something the EU needs to be able to discuss with us, because it's a world problem. And unfortunately, if we can't reach this sort of agreement, the UK and the US, the other hosts of the global market, are going to have to take unique steps in a way to manage the risk from outside the Eurozone and cauterize the exposure for the rest of the world from the Eurozone. But that would be extremely risky for the EU, and I don't see them wishing to do that.
All right, Barney Reynolds, tricky subject. Thanks for talking us through it there.
Pleasure.
Thank you.